I am watching a horrible movie here in this world. I don't understand how anybody could just sit there and take this kind of garbage that these politicians are doing. And not... Like, the logic level is just insane. It almost makes me depressed to watch this. It's like, I was just listening to the governor of Texas talk about the border and what's going on there. When Donald Trump came in and he made the new regulations on the border and started putting up the wall, I finally felt like maybe perhaps we had a fighting chance. Back in 2007, I lived in North Charleston, South Carolina, a suburb of Charleston, South Carolina. And I had a business I was running, a cleaning service that I had run off and on for over 20 years at the time. And I had picked up some extra work on top of that, doing some landscape and pressure washing work. I had invested in some equipment so I could provide more services to my customers. And then we had this flood of illegal immigrants come into the area. Now, we had people on visas and probably some illegal immigrants previous to that, but in 2007, 2008, things just got really, really bad. And I hated Bush. I wanted Ron Paul to win. I campaigned for Ron Paul. I went out of my way and did a lot of different things for the campaign of Ron Paul. Talking to people, registering people to vote, putting up signs, flyers, all sorts of stuff. And calling people on the phone, etc. And, you know, they made it so that you couldn't even write in votes in South Carolina for the presidential election, and then they reversed that law right after the election. You know, so there's so much corruption and so much screwy kind of BS that goes on under the line. And now, this morning, I left my YouTube on autoplay, and I came across a video, which it said I liked the video previously, so I guess I watched it a while ago, but I don't remember it when it came out. But it was about openthebooks.org, where they go through and they show you where all the pork spending and extra spending and above-the-board spending is in the government, in all sectors. And it's insane. Billions and billions of dollars, millions of dollars, close to trillions of dollars in some cases, on total BS, like the VA hospitals, artwork, sculpture, statuary, and new furniture, when they need to be hiring doctors. Or the Pentagon trying to use up their last little bit of their budget, buying a whole bunch of lobster tails and steak to get rid of their budget so they can continue to get the same amount or more budget for the next year. Insanity. Trump is the only one that's ever looked into any of these regulations, and this group, openthebooks.org, was one of the reasons why he did, because he read their reports. And he did cut like 5% off the budget, which was what they suggested to start out with. Because it's so deeply entrenched in policy that it would take 15 years to fix the situation of constant working at it. One of the things they said in this video that I found very interesting was there are candidates in like legislature in different states that had, and I'm not sure, I can't remember, but I think it was Chicago that they gave the example of, that get campaign donations from certain corporations, and in turn, those corporations get huge subsidies from the government. That's pay for play. What part of pay for play do you not understand the concept of? That stuff has got to stop. So I'm watching the governor in Texas talk about the border and what the actual state of Texas themselves are doing because of what Biden has done to Trump's regulations to protect us from illegal immigration. And the state of Texas is working their butt off, putting their money and resources into something that should be federally taken care of. And to be honest, I wouldn't fault Texas if they decided to withdraw from the union and finish the border wall on their own. For that matter, I would be almost supportive if we the people just did the same thing we did when they first were fighting over the border wall, and a GoFundMe for funding the rest of the border wall and volunteering to go down there and put it up our damn selves. This government is for we the people. We the people. Not them, the elite. It has gotten so far out of hand, it's absolutely ridiculous. My forefathers built this country. They came here on the Mayflower. They fought in the Revolutionary War. I have at least 13 great-great-great-great-great-grandfathers that I can find in my family tree who were part of that 3% that fought for this country. They built businesses. They built this country. And yet here I sit, 14 generations later, living in a totalitarian hell, not much better, maybe in some cases worse, than the one they left from to build this country. The one they fought against. We have been sleeping for so long, placated by the media, by movies, by consumerism, by keeping up with the Joneses. It's all a distraction. Every bit of it. Purposefully done just to misdirect you from what's really going on. Here, watch this football game. Here, look at this brand new truck. It's gorgeous. Blah, blah, blah. You know, you gotta have these sneakers because that star wears these sneakers. Screw all that stuff. I don't care who wears what. They're getting paid to wear it. I don't care if whoever basketball star or TV star is wearing what fashion this season. That's totally irrelevant to our freedoms and to our ability to be productive human beings, to be free individuals in this country. But it started like in the 1950s after World War II. All the people came home and the baby boom occurred, and everything was about keeping up with the Joneses and wearing the right stuff and acting the right way and the right kind of houses and little white picket fences and the 2.5 children and the brand new cars and the microwave and the such and such oven, and you know, and it just got progressively worse as time has gone on. And then the 60s came along, and the free love and sexual deviance and basically anti-family values set started, which is a rebellion to the 50s of mothers working in the home, raising the family, and creating a beautiful household. And we have just had this total shit show for years now. And in my generation, Generation X, we were rebels. We were listening to rebellious music and rebellious ideas, and we are now like the conservatives. Like every Xer I knew who I grew up with who was a rebel back in the 80s and 90s, we're the conservatives of this generation. We want our freedoms. We want logic. We want to be productive business owners and career people. I mean, we want our families to be raised in a manner that is based in logic. But yet, the schools are like twisting and torturing the minds of our children. And turning them into social justice warriors. By the time they get to college, they're so far gone that you can't even hold a conversation with your own children about anything historical, logical, because they learned a completely different history than we did. I've tried to hold conversations with 16, 17, 18, 19-year-old individuals. They're what they've learned in school, and this Common Core math, and this lattice math, and none of it makes any sense in a logical world. It's all trash to twist their minds, to delude them into this social justice world. We didn't have racial issues when I was growing up. I had black and Hispanic friends. I had a couple of gay friends. They were rare and far between. Sorry, I had to pause there for a minute. My dogs were alarming me that someone was coming in the door. But some days I go through this and I look at it and I'm going, it's such a huge beast. It's such a huge monster to slay. And yes, we are a huge movement of individuals in the MAGA movement. But we all have responsibilities to take care of. We all have things we have to do every day to maintain in this situation, to be able to make it through to the next day, to feed our families, to keep our homes, especially with this pandemic BS that's been going on. And how do you fight a monster that is in control of the monetary situation, is in control of the media? They have the narrative, they have the money, they have the power. How do we take that power legally, non-violently? How do we destroy their narrative, their dialogue? Having Donald Trump in office has helped a lot. I mean, it's been amazing the amount of people that have woken. But there's still many, many sleeping. And even among those who have woken, they don't know what to do to stop this. And I'm not even sure I know what to do. I mean, there are things that I do. Posting videos, contacting people, contacting my different politicians over my local area, leaving messages, writing letters, etc. But does it really do any good? How much good does it possibly do when no one is paying attention? I watch what this Biden administration is doing, and it is totally insane. And I think about the plan, and I wonder if it even exists. And sometimes I wake up in the morning and I'm like, I want to go right back to sleep. My dreams are better than reality. This reality is just unreal. A lot of it doesn't make any sense. How can you live a logical life when nothing in front of you is logical? And everything is corrupt. And everything is about how much you can get out of somebody else's